Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Wave Italy Apex Racing League Prototype Championship Season 3 here at Hockenheimring. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Marco Bombadera, and you're here live watching Apex Racing TV.
Yes, Austin, welcome to you, welcome to everyone joining us tonight for this 5th round of the championship. And yes, we are at Hockenheimring, such a already well beloved racetrack, despite its very recent addition to the iRacing lineup. And I have to say, basically a lot of the series come here back regularly, so it means that this track has absolutely provided for some good racing, and today is going to be some good multi-class racing. What am I saying? Some great multi-class racing, as the LMP1s and LMP2s of the Wave Italy Apex Racing League Prototype Championship make their way in Germany. And before we start, Austin has the LMP1 standings.
Yes, I do. Standing by with those standings right now. Leon Reichardt stays in the lead just by 1 point ahead of Alex Spetz. That championship fight is going to go down to the wire pretty much. This is a really tight championship, and I hope it goes all the way down to the wire between these two teammates. In third, it's Simon Kalaratz, Ollie Cole, Jan Korbs, Saplex Balog, and Nicholas Schneider, and Ismail Yakubu, Ryan Littlemore, and Danielle Pizzo at the end of the top 10 in the LMP1 standings. Marco, I believe you got our LMP2 pros.
Absolutely, here they are as qualifying is underway in the background. We'll focus on that momentarily. Michael Mariani for SRC Mivano Jr. leads the way, 188 points, 177 for Owen Karilev, Drive Dead Racing. Then it's Francesco Panetta in third place, also from SRC Mivano Jr. And Lorenzo Castellani in fourth place in front of Giuseppe Muglia and Lorenzo Zoffoli, Riccardo Giorgi. Now I always say, well, there's a lot of Italians in the top positions in the championship until I watch the standings and I realize there is basically only Italians in LMP2 Pro, so it's not as good as an achievement as I was thinking about. But yeah, these guys are doing a fantastic job. Look out for Daniel Zivisabu, he's incredibly quick, and I'm expecting more out of Andrea Pettanella. I know he's a very, very quick driver despite being last in the standings. And LMP2 AM, of course, the biggest class of the field, with Sorensen, Köfed and Tysars, their top three, with Sorensen leading the way with 113 points over Morten and Handy, who are very, very close. So is Iaconetti. Our own Andy Thompson is in fifth. It's very, very tight here, apart from first place, so they will have to hope, I mean, of course, beating Thomas on the field is paramount, but we know with multi-class racing things could go bad very quickly, and it's not anyone's fault a lot of the time. Also watch out for Roy Maas. He's very, very quick. And Jack Geiler, who's a new entry to the championship, is lagging some ways behind. Remember, this one drop score, so even if drivers joined in the second race, they still have a fair shot at the championship. Let's look at these qualifying times, Austin. And of course, the sooner we have times on the board, the earlier we're going to see our new, well, we debuted last week, the multi-class champion positions standings, which I absolutely love and I know you are a big fan of.
Yeah, the multi-class position standings, really very fun to look at as our first two LP1 times come through. And it's Calorat sitting up on provisional pole position. Panetta takes LMP2 Pro provisional, and championship leader Rart takes LMP1 provisional pole, and Gibb currently sitting on top of there. But as the times are slowly coming into the track right now, Marco, what are the key spots of this track that are going to be really deciding in this race?
Yes, Austin, of course, you know, racing fans that are a little bit older, like me, for example, remember the outrage, and I'm still very sad that we lost the old Hockenheimring. But after the initial shock, which I have to be honest, lasted for like 10 years in my case, because this to me is still the new Hockenheim, despite being basically 20 years old now, what we got was a very, very interesting racetrack. The premier characteristic, I would say, which maybe won't show up today because these are big cars, but if you want, especially in the smaller cars, but even with these ones, if you really, really want, you can go side by side the all the way through. Look at this, Francesco Panetta getting into the middle portion of the racetrack, how wide it is, especially on corner entry. The only place where you really can't be side by side is the motodrome at the end of the lap. Yes, exactly, that Austin. And that is also the second corner, which here we enter, and then we have this left-hander here, Sachs curve, if I'm not mistaken. If you go wide here, the runoff area is actually pointing below, so it's very easy to get beached. We've seen that in the past. Oh, and Ismail Yakubu is back. Speaking of which, he told us that he was going to be out for the season for surgery after injuring his leg. But apparently it's a very quick recovery. We are so happy to have Ismail back. What a pleasant news, Austin.
Yeah, pleasant news. Glad to see him back. Glad that surgery went well. And also pleasant news, it went really well, apparently, because he's on provisional pole. I want to see his doctor. Maybe he can improve my sim racing.
Yeah, you know, when Tommy John had the first ever Tommy John surgery, of course, he asked, you know, if it was possible to have, you know, I mean, I think he said Sandy Koufax ligament, but he said instead he got Sandy Koufax's wife ligament. So it was still a terrible picture. I mean, it was a decent picture. But yeah, Ismail Yakubu. I mean, this would be a great story. Already putting 0.3 of a second over the rest of the competition as we are halfway through qualifying. But let's take a look at Lennart Hart. He's on a flyer.
Yeah, absolute flyer. Comes across the line. Does not take Yakubu's time right there. but you get to see the speed of these cars go through turn 1. Usually, we'd be saying, oh, this is one of the fastest cars to go across turn 1. It still is, though it's not the fastest car on iRacing anymore. You know, the ARL 1 gave it a run for its money, but you know, I think we can all say that this car is now the second or third fastest car in iRacing because that beautiful Mercedes W12 is out there right now, and I've never smiled and just giggled with enjoyment so much behind the wheel.
And last night, the Mercedes got his first prestigious victory on iRacing, winning the dinner with racers Eldora Sprint Showdown, beating
As
the
it
likes
should
of beating the McLaren MP430, the Audi 90 GTO, the Dirt Legend and the Dirt Street Stock, you know. And everyone was saying that F1 cars were going to be too fragile, but the Mercedes behaved very, very well, and in fact won the overall. It was, you know, it was not split in class. It was, you know, everyone against everyone, and because each car had a different kind of positive and negative aspect, like the Dirt Street Stock or the Dirt Legend, slow but very durable, the F1 cars fast but fragile, and the Audi 90 was my favorite because I thought that car is a tank, four-wheel drive, but no, it was the F1 that ruled the day.
Yeah, that's a way to balance out. Put it on dirt.
Ismail got another fast lap, by the way. So he improves on his pole as Owen Carroll jumps into the lead of LMP2 Pro. Let's see if Frankie Panetta can get up only 29 1,000ths of a sec.
I got it.
Pole position.
Nice.
Here comes Sorensen to improve. Doesn't improve. Oh, we have Jackie Lotterman. We have a couple of new drivers. One of them is Jackie Lotterman, who's a veteran of the Apex Racing League GT Championship, but has been on iRacing for years and years and years. Still without a valid lap time in LMP2 Pro. Here we go, Jackie. Maybe this is a better time. At least it's, you know, we have a very, very balanced field in LMP2 Pro, huh?
Yeah, the top 10 within 8/10 of each other in LMP2 Pro. And that is a very consistent time. And, you know, Hockenheimring, everybody knows this track. Even though it is pretty new on iRacing, everybody is Castellani goes almost, yeah, just barely under a 10th right there, but right behind Panetta, but jumps up into second place. Everybody knows this track. They know all of its secrets. They know all the tricks here. It's such a well-designed track, and it's very fun to drive around. It's a very enjoyable track. So to really get a fast lap around here is really nice, and everybody is going to be at the top of their game here, and you can see the separation by the pros and the AMs right there.
Look at Ryan. We have a late surprise for pole position in LMP1.
Yeah, a little more.
Ooh, bad sector 3. Bad sector 3, unfortunately.
Yeah, sector 3
an invalidated lap. Wow. He had a record-setting sector 2. You know, it's nice in these new tracks in racing that we only have 3 sectors, like it should be. So it's easy to keep track on the lap time. There's another new driver, Dino Vela, for the IDK, which probably stands for I don't know team, I would imagine. Given also the very much blank car he's driving.
Well, I don't know what his livery is trying to be, but you know, it probably doesn't mean IDK is that hairpin very excited off the exit. The car really snapped right there. He's not going to be setting a he did set a lap time, but he'll be at the back of the LMP2 cars that did put in a lap time. But yeah, qualifying's over. It's time to grid up and get ready to go here. Formation lap and a nice view around Hockenheimring and that beautiful Porsche Experience Center in the middle, which I'm pretty sure these Porsche LP1 cars do not go around.
Absolutely, and there is Austin with your LMP1 starting grid.
Ismail Yakubu takes pole position ahead of Alex Spetz, Linhard Rart in third place, followed by Simon Kalleratz and Nicholas Schneider. Your top 5, they're followed by Jan Korbs, Danielle Pizzo, Ollie Cole, Ryan Littlemore, Backless Balog, Carlo Labetti, and James Armstrong in 12th place, with Marco Ariticono at the back of our 13-car LMP1 grid. Over to Marco.
Yes, LMP2s, of course, they are grouped and scored together, pros and arms, when it comes to the points and the positions, and so we'll consider them as such, with Panetta leading the way in front of Castellani and Carroll, with Michael Mariani and Teemu Milikangas, after this weekend, our favorite Finnish driver, I'd say, in the world. Riccardo Geroli in 19th place overall, Giuseppe Muia is sitting in 20th, Jackie Lotterman and James Parker, then Lorenzo Zoffoli and Paul Sitter, and also championship leader in LMP2 is Thomas Sorensen. If we go down below, we find Jack Geiler, Connor Gibb, Gerardo Iaconetti, another one of the pro guys in Omar Rovledo, Morten Kofod, Andy Thompson, Andy Tysarst, and Dino Vela, Daniel Zivisabo, Anders Ilejordet, Hans Blackworth, Martin Tailgord. These are the drivers without a valid lap time, and the drivers that have a qualifying ban for tonight's event are Anders Ilejordet, Carlo Labatti, Daniel Zivisabo, Hans Blackworth, James Armstrong, Michael Youngblood, and Marco Arcidiacono. So these drivers were not allowed to set a quali lap. And here we go, Austin.
Yeah, pace car is going off. And I was talking to Andy before this. I asked him, is it going to be a short parade lap or a long one? And he goes, well, last time I did a short one, everyone got mad at me, so I'm definitely doing the long one. Andy might have messed something up again.
No, it's not. In these newer tracks, the long pace lap is not even possible to be selected.
Oh, okay. Well, you can see it's Spets getting a big group, big lead on everybody else, but they finally get back to everybody. You Cubus, guys that control the field. Pace cars in. And it's time for them to round that final corner and rev up those edges as we are green here at Hockenheimring for the ARL Prototype Championship. It's a great start. Top 4 already getting into the line through turns 1 very fast, flat out through there. A little bit of separation by everybody else. Here comes the LP2 field, as they are let loose and wild here at the ring.
Oh no!
And already, Littlemore's had an issue. Littlemore's off.
Yeah, the hairpin, Austin, always a treacherous moment for all of these cars. Let's see how the LMP2s are going to manage as Panetta, Castellani, Carrill trying to make their way, and behind the amateurs, mixing it up as it should be with the pros. Yakubu still leads, and now you can see it, of course, with the new graphics that we have on SDK Gaming, as they go to the hairpin for the first time in the LMP2 class. Oh, and Carrill, oh man, oh dear.
That is going for a gap that is closing, but he showed his elbows right there, got onto the inside of the parabolic curve, and right into the hairpin. Owen Carroll into third, and look at this, 3 wide through there. There is Vela keeping a car clean. A little bit of separation over to our LP1s as they head through the arena section here at Hockenheimring on that banked corner and through the final corner. The Audis are going to be so powerful around here, by the way. That top speed through parabolic is really good. Carroll under pressure around the outside, and he's being pressured by Mariani. Mariani trying to peek his nose down to the inside. On board Mariani right now. Switchback opportunity. Here he goes. Mariani. Big opportunity right there. Gets onto the inside curve, but Carroll, he's on the inside line for the final 2 corners. Mariani really pressuring him, getting a nose right there. They're going to be side by side through the fog corner. Mariani, ooh, a little hip check right there, pushing Carroll off the track. Mariani now in third. You can see the little flash of lights. Carroll not happy about that. Carroll's got to watch out on his inside. It's Teemu time! Down to the inside. Oh no, he hit Carroll!
He's sitting in a precarious position in the middle of the track.
He's got to get out of there. He's got to get out of there. He's got to get out of there. Everybody avoiding him right there. I think he's clear, but that is so unfortunate. Very ambitious move by Teemu down to the inside. And, you know, it's just so tight to go side by side through there. That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that should a protest be filed. Remember, everything that happens on lap 1 is automatically reviewed by our valiant steward, as only call is off. That's the Teemu line, by the way, we learned in IGP Fan. But then anything else that happens after the first lap. So the second lap, as Teemu has had a problem.
Oh no. Well, that is definitely not a Teemu time that he wants it to be. But, you know, I have a feeling... Oh, it's actually side by side right here. Did he go for an ambitious move down to the inside? 123 is on his outside. It's on the... Oh, little hip contact right there.
That was
And
Jackie
that upset
Lotterman, the Belgian.
That's a unfortunate end to that, but oh my gosh. I think that's the first time I screamed, "It's Teemu time," as he made an overtake, and it unfortunately ended in a crash.
Yeah, that didn't work.
It didn't work, but it sure felt awesome.
Simon Caudars with the fastest lap of the race, which is not the fastest lap overall. If you're following on our live timing, link in the chat, by the way. At the very top of the chat is the fastest clean lap of the race, as Ollie Cole is around the same spot as Teemu, I would imagine.
He's got a lot of damage. Look at the back end of that car. Ollie Cole's LMP1 car really damaged and limping around. Something must have happened already, because the back of that car is just destroyed.
I'm liking the camo livery to fool us commentators, the Dazzle camo. Almost looks like the Dempsey Proton livery, with all the geometric shapes on it.
It looks like my shatter livery that I run on all my cars with the triangles, but they're all falling away from it. Really like it, though. I love triangles. If you put triangles, a lot of triangles on your livery, I will like it. Ooh, that's a lockup right there. Calarats in the hairpin, just over rotation mid-corner, and lost the place to Schneider.
So
a very minor mistake right there, but you know, you just saw it at the top of our screen.
In LMP2 Pro, it's Panetta from Castellani and Mariani, Lotterman in 4th and Geroli in 5th. LMP2 AM, Jack Geiler. We always have the winner or the fastest car in LMP2 AM being a bit more further forward than the rest of the field, and in this case there are 3 pro drivers between himself and championship leader Thomas Sorensen. Then there is Ollie Cole trying to come back, and Connor Gibb is third in class. Giuseppe Muia launches on the inside of James Parker and gets up into 7th position in his classes. They are still side by side. This is what we were talking about earlier, Austin. Side by side bonanza.
Oof. Ooh, side by side right there. Unable to make it work. Almost contacted. Watch out for Ollie Cole right behind him. Cole's approaching a really tight spot part of the track. Let's run on board Ollie Cole right here, because they're just heading into that tight sector 3. And oh, this is going to be very interesting. This is what I was fearing what will happen with traffic. And yeah, he's got to be very cautious right here heading into there, not go a bit wide, and he's actually done it. Panetta actually was just off track. Francesco Panetta, the LP. No, that's Ryan Littlemore. Littlemore's had this again. That's in the Parabolica.
I think it started a bit earlier than that, Austin.
Heading into turn 2 right here. Too much mustard coming out the corner. Oh, he's hit that inside curb and just went a little bit wide, and that's a... oh, he's hit the track, the safety track. And that's kind of launched up the car to a little bit of a sideways motion. Let's run on board of our pole sitter, Yakubu, currently sitting in 2nd place, just set the fastest lap of the race. But Spets is leading the race right now. 2 Audis up front, as they are making work of this LP2 field. Inside line is available for them right now. And it's here. 1.2 seconds separate them, and Yakubu gets caught up by traffic. Also being caught up by traffic is our LP1 championship leader, and that's a little bit of a hold up right there by an LP2 car, staying on the racing line. And he had to get out of the way right there. One of the cars actually went off track. Speaking of track and traffic, holy crud. Armstrong and Calarats really at each other's throats right there.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And, you know, this is, of course, an LMP1 championship that's pretty much one team dominating because they have so many cars and so many quick drivers. And then there are the drivers who are basically on their own. You know, Niklas Schneider of Schneider Motorsport, Marco Arcidiacono for DRS eSports, and the two Leo Racing team cars of Labati and Pizzo. Labati and Pizzo both not having the luckiest of starts to their championship, as we are already in round 5. You know, fortunes, they need to turn them around, and need to turn them around quickly. As Olli Cole goes past the last of the LMP2 cars. The first, of course, the last in his path, but the first of the running order of Francesco Vallet. And now he needs to, you know, put his head down and try to come back. Now, Austin, we saw in every race, apart from Road America, we saw the LMP1 field split the strategies. Some of them were pitting early, some of them were pitting late. I will ask you again the same question I ask you every week. Will we see this again this week at Hockenheim?
Well, we saw it at Sebring, where we saw it at Road America and Sebring. The Road America race, it was pitting later. Best strategy because of the traffic. You know, everybody was anticipating the traffic. Sebring, the traffic, the pitting early, and you know, just getting into clean air is also a good thing around there too. I feel like it's going to be pitting early again this week because, you know, Sector 3 is so tight. You're gonna be losing a lot of time if you're dealing with LP2 cars.
Armstrong and Corps going hard at it, fighting amongst the traffic. Look at the traffic. This is a massive.
This is tight. This is really tight.
Jam.
LP2 car almost made contact up there with one of the LP1 cars. You can see the 12. Oh my gosh! Almost making contact right there. Who's the 112 out there? That's one of the LP2 Pro cars.
It's Owen Carroll.
Owen Carroll almost making contact with one of the LP1s through out of border Corps heading to there, but contact! Armstrong affected by that. One of the LP2 cars. Was that an LP2 car? Yes, it was. Just turned in from the hairpin with the LP1 right there. Got onto the back right corner. It's 255, and right there, and that's just a.
That was Morten Koefoed, but he was on the outside. It's almost like the LMP1 tracked out. Of course, we see when we are on board with these cars how little viewing area they have, and if you're running on single monitor, it's incredibly tough to keep track of where you are. But still, the onus, I think, should have been on him to see that there was a car on the outside. But, you know, of course, we have a limited perspective of what's happening, and so we cannot really judge. But James, unfortunately, has some big damage. It's too early to finish the race, so we'll have to stop again.
Yeah, stop again. We saw that with Olli Cole. He just stopped, took his fast spare, kept on going, and he's, I believe he's keeping his strategy for, well, pit stops right there. So I'm expecting James Armstrong to just take a fast spare, but no, he's actually fueling up as well. 7.4 seconds in the pit box for James Armstrong.
And you can see here
chaos at the hairpin.
At the hairpin, it's incredible, Austin, because you can go wide to avoid trouble, but then sometimes when you rejoin, you forget that there is that sausage curve that can really upset your car in the best of conditions, and sometimes even send you into the wall or into the oncoming traffic. Oh man. Kaulas taking no prisoners with his LMP2 cars. Let's bring up the track map, shall we?
Yeah, track map, dancing dots the team.
Jam.
You see that traffic is absolutely monumental right there. And that's what you're going to be fearing when you're going into the pits. But, you know, the track is such a short track here. I'm going to go back on my word, how I said pitting early. Well, we're already passing all the cars right now. There's James Armstrong around again. Cole Tires in Mercedes Arena. I feel like it's going to be a how long you can go with this car, because the traffic is really going to be spread out later on to the race. It's really tightly packed, so I feel like it's going to stay like that for a while. But, you know, you can't really pin down the strategy with these cars because it changes every week. But now that I look at it, I feel like the longer you go, the better it will be, because the LP2 cars be wider spread out than the tighter that hairpin is just so tight.
Was a nip check. I didn't know, didn't realize who the LMP2 was, but there was a little bit of argy-bargy there between Schneider and one of the LMP2s. Labate and Pizzo following real closely. So that is the 125. It's Riccardo Geroli of SRC Mivano Jr.
Yeah, sitting in 5th in LMP2 Pro in the Pro class. I think we just say Pro and AM class because, ooh, almost getting contact right there heading into the S section of the arena. You need to see the speed difference of the LMP1 car and the LMP Pro car right there.
That's the best time for each class. 1 minute and 18 seconds for the P1s, 1:26.3 and 1:27.0 for the amateurs. So you can see it's quite... and not only, of course, the lap time is interesting, but of course the fact that the LMP1s can boost. And when they boost, they really are rocket ships, and you see the closing speed is monumental as Curbs moves around the outside. Cowlers doesn't offer too much resistance to the teammate. Schneider keeping it very close, and again Labate and Pizzo trying to come back. Arcidiacono struggling a bit this week. He's already 20 seconds back from the lead of the race. Jack Geiler is enjoying a nice day at the office. His connection might be a bit iffy, but his speed is not. He's got 8.7 seconds over Connor Gibb and Thomas Sorensen.
Yeah, Jack Geiler might be enjoying a day at his office, but his internet is certainly enjoying a day on vacation, apparently. But it looks like, you know, when you're clear of everyone around you, you can be a little bit okay with a spotty connection here and there. As second place is miles behind him. 8 seconds already. We're only 15 minutes into this race. So he's been putting in works on that.
Which I
field.
guess Austin in LMP2 AM is not an uncommon thing to happen, because it's the class that's more... Oh dear, Riccardo jumping on the curb. With with a passion, I would say. I mean, LMP2 AM is the class more likely to be mixed up with others, with the class leader especially, given that there is a bit of overlap between the fastest guys in AM and the slowest in Pro, despite, you know, of course, our stewards doing a fantastic job. Here comes Lorenzo around the outside. So if you really can get away from the pack in LMP2 AM, you can really put a considerable gap, not only of time but also of cars, between you and your opponents, as these guys are still going at it. Italian hand gestures waving from the cockpit, I would imagine.
Yeah, Zafoli able to get that move done on Garoli. Ricardo had that inside line, and he actually had the move made heading into the hairpin, but he actually hooked the curb, clipped the curb on the inside right as he got onto the throttle. That he had to check up right there. That's allowed as a Foley back up into 5th place. But yeah, the AM class in the LP2 field is really spread out in skill. Some drivers are very comfortable at a few tracks. Some of them are not. I was talking with Andy Thompson, you know, who's doing pretty well, sitting in 7th right there. And you know, we saw him in Sebring really struggling, but here he seems a lot more comfortable than he was at Sebring, and he's not last. Sorry, Andy, I had to say that. Fellow commentator of ours, always fun to poke a little fun at.
Here comes Ryan Littlemore for his first stop. So he's one of the early takers around the 20-minute mark, I have to say. Big thanks to all the people watching us tonight. The chat is incredibly active. Thank you for watching this broadcast. A lot of fans of Temu, of course, but I see Alexander Spez fans, Marco Arcidiacono fans, and also Lorenzo Castellani fans. There is, and he's putting pressure on Francesco Panetta for first place.
Yeah, that's right on board of this fight right here, as Panetta and Castellani race it along here, coming through that final corner and across the line once more. But yeah, look at the track map. The LP1 field Look at that train from 4th all the way down to 8th. That's a rare sight to see.
Yes, and the LMP2 Pro leaders also are enjoying a nice bit of clean track time. So let's see if Castellani or Panetta can profit, who can profit more from this situation.
That's going to be a toss-up right there. I'm not sure. But
you know, I have the privilege of being a commentator for the Italian esports events, so I know all these drivers very, very well, and honestly I can tell you, I don't know who can be quickest. I know Francesco has an incredible wealth of experience, been sim racing since the days of Grand Prix Legends. We actually raced together a couple of times. He was already super quick back then, and I was already super slow. So some things never change, you know, Austin.
yeah, something definitely never changes. Unfortunately, pace-wise. But you know, speaking of never changes, his pace has definitely always been there, and Panetta showing it right there. As Castellani changing, still chasing him down. It feels like he's a little bit slower. Panetta able to get that clean air and just start going with it, as this is Corfed. Andy Tyser's heading into turn 1, just a little bit clip the curb on the outside of turn 1. That is a fairly common move. Heading into turn 2, too much mustard into the corner.
I think that spin will not pass the quality control tonight.
I knew it was coming. You were going to beat me to it, and you did.
Austin, I need to get my shots in. You know, I don't have too much time left.
Yeah, you don't have much time left. I don't feel good, Mr.
On board with Schneider,
oh,
as Armstrong went back into the pits. This time I will imagine for his proper stop.
I thought there was another car heading into the pit lane, but I think I'm just matching it. Yeah, Littlemore was the last car to head into the pit lane. We've only had 3 cars into the pits, and that was mainly off of damage. We ride on board Nick Schneider.
Yeah, my apologies. That was a little more getting to the pit. Sorry, Austin. And of course, you know, it would help if we had the lap counter on the top left. There we go.
Ooh. Almost got on the LP2. LP2 gets onto the curve, and Schneider getting it out of the way. Here comes the body. Carlo, great run for him, heading in front of the Mercedes grandstand. And
problem for Connor Gibb. He was sitting on the podium of LMP2 AM. Sorry to cut you off, Austin. This is a big moment.
We got an LP1 car. We have Littlemore off as well. I think Gibb and Littlemore might have made contact heading into around here. Well, actually, Littlemore in the background made contact. There goes Littlemore. One of the LP1 cars is stopped.
Littlemore was here, far back here in the entering.
Far back here. I thought they were connected, but this is what happened to Littlemore. Tipped the wheel and off into the wall. Oh no, mamma mia. Not good for Ryan right there, and I feel like that's another visit to the pit lane. So 2 incidents back to back heading into the Mercedes arena. Gibb and Littlemore. Gibb, just a trip through the grass, a little bit of spin, Rooney. Littlemore, a lot of damage, and
bit of a traffic jam, huh? Just a little bit of a traffic jam here.
A bit's an understatement. That could have been a massive crash right there. Those 2 LP1 cars really went after each other and almost had a spicy incident right there.
This is one, of course, involved in this mess was Jack Geiler, the leader of the LMP2 AM. Now you might be asking, why is he taking his chances? Why is he fighting? Because, as I said in the opening, it's easy to miss. LMP2 cars are scored globally on their position in the overall LMP2 finishing position for the championship points. So it's in his best interest of Jack to pass as many pro cars as he can, because not all victories in LMP1 in LMP2 AM are made equal.
Yes, they are. And Jan Korb's first LMP1 car scheduled pit stop.
Is he the rear wing? He had the rear wing bent.
I don't see any rear wing bent.
Yeah, because it got fixed by the fast repair, but...
That is also true, but, you know, he's really taking his time in that pit stop. Yeah, he did have a little bit of damage, but he's had that damage, though.
Yeah, I don't know when he got, but probably got rear-ended by someone, and as if by magic.
There it goes.
Lovely. You have to love modern technology, Austin.
Modern technology, absolute, you know, instant rear wing changes. Can't we get that on all vehicles my sister is on, because she needs it.
It's pets from Yakubu, Rart, Kaulars, and Schneider as Kaulars goes into the pits.
This is a scheduled pit stop, definitely,
problem for Thomas Sorensen, who's second in class. And he almost had a getting together with us Blackbird, with Iaconetti in the middle of the two. So it's a very hard fight for the podium in LMP2 AM.
Yeah, the LMP2 AM class, and in the background, who was that? Was that Corfed?
No, that was an LMP1 car. Got past them.
No. One of the cars just like absolutely lost control coming out of turn 2. Was that Marco?
No, Marco is okay.
Okay.
No, I didn't see who it was, so I have no idea which replay I need to go and grab to see what happened. Because trust me, the event viewer, people at home, you don't know, we have in our beautiful SDK Gaming, which by the way you can find at sdk-gaming.co.uk, and you can use it for multiple things, such as live streams of your leagues, your Twitch streams, or as an overlay for your races. You can superimpose all the infos you want on your screen and use it for fuel calculations, gaps, class, iRating gains, iRating losses, sometimes, you know, pit stop strategies, whatever, for your individual race and for your team events. stk-gaming.co.uk for more information. Well, it also has an event viewer that records every event in the session, so you can double click on that and go and revisit it. And during this Wave Italy Prototype Championship races, Austin, this event viewer is flooded with information. So if something happens and you don't notice, you are never going to get it back.
Yeah, speaking of getting it back for Francesco Pinetta, a little bit off track right there, but he was able to stretch that lead to Castellani out right there. Last lap, fastest lap of the race for the pro category. 1.4 seconds separates them two, and I feel like the traffic is really going to be playing a big part right here in the LMP2 field. But, you know, besides these two, it's going to be a battle for the lead between them, as everybody else this is Pizzo off in the gravel just a bit, and ooh, loose tire, loose grip, slidey. No grip.
Every time we go to that corner, we see
somebody's off.
The tire marks, yeah, there on the outside on that corner. Here comes Jabolks Balog. He gets past Daniele Pizzo, so he's up into 6th position. So out of all the drivers who have stopped in LMP1, only Kaulars and Curbs are good to go. Armstrong and Cole will have to stop again, probably.
Yes,
in LMP2, nobody has stopped.
Nobody. Daniel Stevie Salzbo has stopped as we got an incident on track. Andy Ticehurst heading into turn 2. Did he loop it? Yes, he did.
And he called it a day, I think. Yep.
Somebody. Balog's off.
Something has happened.
The ball log and the hairpins off. It's teammate time. I hope this is a good teammate time and not a bad one. Heading into the hairpin. Oh!
So that was Lennart Hart.
3 LMP1 cars collision with each other.
So it was, I think, Balog. That should be Pizzo in the iRacing team car. Yes.
Oh, he's locked up.
Pinned by Hart, and then the poor Timo gets collected.
Yeah, the Timo loops it around. It's just slams to the side of the wall.
And then Lennart had a problem as well. As that was happening.
Went to the pit lane. He just went to the pit lane and oh no!
Collision with the LMP2 car.
Oh no, championship leader too. This is definitely going to be hurting him.
You know, I was talking about the event viewer, it's being flooded of course, but you see how important that is. Another incredible piece of kit from our legendary Pascal at SDK Gaming. So yeah, get the software. I'm going to miss it so much.
Absolutely a wonderful piece of software, and you know, I used it almost every time when I'm driving, either endurance or you know, just enjoying a random race that I've crashed out in. I'll pop it up there and just watch from the grandstands because I'm honestly too overskilled to keep the car on track.
And if you want to spectate AI races, it works there as well. You can customize it and put the driver pictures. Hint, hint, you can create car sets of a very, very famous racing series using maybe the F3 car. As Temu is in, as Jack Geider is in, Giuseppe Muglia is in, LMP2 floodgates have opened.
Yeah, Temu looped it around in turn 2 and towed. Temu was actually just coming out of the pit lane too.
Yes, I'll tell you what happened. They only have one faster pair. He clearly probably used it earlier and realized that the car isn't working anymore.
Yeah, that might be the issue, but that was a weird tow. It looked like he turned in just fine. So I thought he looped it around, but no, he just pulled off track and it called it towed. Ollie Cole down to the inside, easy as pie right there. No surprise, LMP2 massively. He's actually about to be lapped as Spets is right behind him.
Oh, three wide.
Heading to turn 2. A little bit of a traffic jam. And if you're one of the 2 LMP2 cars behind you, they're not going to be excited to see that because they know that you are really racy. There goes one of the LP2s.
That should be Ollie Cole.
That is a big send. Watch out, you're inside Andy. Andy, no! Andy, 3 wide to the hairpin. And Giuseppe on the inside right there. Also had an LP1 car on his inside as well. Andy didn't even realize that they were going to be 3 wide heading into that corner. He got into the brakes really early. You now realize it was 3 wide. And
the LMP1 clipped Muya, and then Muya clipped Andy there. So it was a bit of a kerfuffle, if you ask me.
Yeah, really big kerfuffle right there. And Andy Thompson somehow kept it up there. And he's running in 6th place in the AM category. Doing fantastic. Owen Carroll heading into the Parabolica. Side by side, late onto the brakes. In that fight with James Parker, a little bit of a lockup right there. Can Parker get that switch back on him? Not going to happen. LP2 on his inside. Race into the pit road right here. This is a Cuba. There's a crash in pit road.
Andy Thompson and Ismail Yakubu.
And that is jinxed. Andy and Yakubu into the pit lane, and they clip each other. Andy's pit was a lot sooner. He was stuck onto the outside, I believe. Yakubu dived it down to the inside. And Andy trying to get into his pit box and not trying to avoid it and lose the time. Yakubu does go below the white line. You see Andy already trying to go into there, and Yakubu just trying to sneak past him. You know, both of them are on the limiter. It's not going to be a lot. Andy could have lifted. Yakubu could have waited. You know, fingers go both ways, but ooh.
Oh man, this is one of the moments, you know, when I'm glad I'm not a steward anymore. I mean, I am in real life, but I don't make the big decisions, so usually I just report what I see wrong, and then the race control decides on the penalty. If need be, I just note what happens.
If I was a steward, because Yakubu tried to make that overtake after the pit entry line, he did dip below the white line after the cone and try to make an overtake in the pit lane. I have to say that's Yakubu. Even if it's Andy turning into Yakubu, which caused it, Yakubu was trying to go for that overtake, which, you know, his pit box is a lot more sooner, which you don't know which pit box is the other guy that you're going out on, which I believe iRacing needs to add the other pit crew animations, or at least a lollipop, so you know, okay, this guy goes to the pits right here. But with that incident, that's allowed Alex Spetz to really pull away now, because that is a horrible stop for Yakubu.
Who's back in once again, no?
I think serving a penalty now.
No, he's pitting again.
Odd to see him pit again, unless it's a stop-go penalty. And missed the box. Going to have to back it up right there. Back it up. Back it up. Go forward. Stop the bus. Bring it around town. Yep, there he goes.
Probably took a fast repair or something.
I didn't see damage on the car being fixed, so it might just been a stop-go penalty.
No, it doesn't work that way. It's only you can only get a drive-through penalty for exceeding the incident limit, unless he cut pit exit. In that case, it's a massive penalty, like 40 seconds or something. Even if you get a speeding, it's a big penalty, unfortunately.
Well, there were games being played on pit entry. There were definite games being played on pit entry, but this race has gone from good to extremely worse. We're on board a Balog, chasing down James Armstrong. Armstrong still has to go into the pit lane. Wins the pits on lap 8. Schneider is coming out of the pits right now, sitting in 7th. So here's Alex Spetz. Still has not. Top 3 have still not gone to the pits. Labate and Marco sitting in 3rd. Marco, quality band, up 10 spots, sitting in 3rd place. Very good race by them today, and but Alex Spetz just dominating this race. We had on board Carlo Labate, currently sitting P2.
See if Carlo is taking the... They can push probably for 5 more minutes, I would guess, Austin. These LMP2 leaders. LMP1 leaders, apologies.
He's staying out. Marco might be coming in. Yep.
Austin has that access to radio communications, which I don't have, so probably he heard Marco call.
Actually, I don't. I have that turned off right now. That was a guess. Pinetta, 1-2, heading into the pits. Pinetta, Castellani,
yeah.
Mariani into the pits as well.
LMP2s usually, Austin, as we learned, they pit all together like basically a flock of sheep. And today is no different.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the pit lane. 9 looking for 6. I see 6 right there. 6 LP2 cars into the pit stop. I'm looking for 7. There's Carol. I see 7 into the pit lane for the LP2s.
Panetta is already out. Still in the lead. And in LMP2 AM, we have 4 cars without a stop, as all the other drivers.
McGyler went in pretty early.
Yeah, and that is a no. It's. I mean, he stopped. Oh man, he stopped. Okay, like he's good to go.
Lane, Livner. Oh, you see, we might see another incident of somebody trying to make an overtake in the pit lane. Sebastian Vettel showed us in China a few years ago that you can overtake on pit entry. You just can't overtake in the pit lane on another car. And, you know, if it's before that yellow cone, you have all the right interval to try to make an overtake right there. It's going to be tight and very tricky, but you can definitely try it. But after that cone, I believe, is where the blame's going to be if there's a overtake attempt. This isn't NASCAR where it's, you know, pit lanes are extremely wide. Hockenheim has a pretty narrow pit lane. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's many European tracks as the leader Spets goes by, like for example, and I'm saying this, I'm not pointing fingers and I'm not saying blame, I'm just saying that, and because we are not using the FIA rule book, of course, we are using the iRacing rule book, so you know, who knows what that says, but of course in Europe we have the fast lane, we have the working lane, and overtaking on the working lane is strictly prohibited, of course. But even if you really wanted to pass on the fast lane, there is no space. I talk from experience in Vallelunga, you can barely fit a car there in the fast lane. And here is, tell me, trust me, I think it's no different here. As Sorensen goes in and Iaconetti goes in, and we need no one else apart from the leader of leaders, Alexander Spets, who's the only car yet to stop.
Andreas, oh, there goes Andreas. Thank you, Andreas. Yep, Alexander Spets, well, you know, he doesn't have to worry about much out there. He's in clear air. He's coming up the traffic right there. It'll be a great pit stop for him. He's running up to, when he comes back out, he's going to have clean air once more. And, well, it's a one-way ticket down Easy Street. And here comes Alex Spets, last car into the pit lane. And I think it's, you know, I wouldn't call this the strategy that won the race. I feel like it's just his pace won the race right here.
Armstrong lagging, launching himself on the inside of Arcidiacono, who's boxed in by the traffic. But yes, also, I mean, when you are this faster than the rest of the field, you can even get away with a bad strategy, you know. If the speed is this much, and I want to reiterate, of course, Rart had a problem. For example, I think also Curbs had a problem, so this helped Spets a bit. But Lennart, Curbs, Cowders, etc., they are incredibly fast drivers.
Absolutely,
if you mix Alex speed with Rart and Curbs and the others running into difficulties, then you have it. Now the gap will decrease in a second. There we go. It will stabilize after live timing. Arcidiacono goes with the Temu line once again. Stabilizes itself. It's still 20 seconds, almost 21 seconds with 20 minutes to go. It's a perfect position to be in for Spets. So, Austin, with all the pit stops done, let's give our viewers a rundown of the classes. Alexander Spets. Yes, go ahead with the LMP1, of course.
Alexander Spets currently sitting in the lead by 20 seconds to second place. The second place in a fight, three-way fight between Leonard Rart, Corbs, and Kalarats. Right behind them, they are separated by 5 seconds each, and they're going through a little bit of traffic. Schneider currently sitting in 5th with Labate and Armstrong and Balog. As there's contact right there, Nicholas Schneider.
Ow!
How do they not crash right
And that
there?
was Jack Geiler, the leader of the LMP2 Hams, who had, I think they both need an underwear change, but especially Jack, who is miles ahead of the competition and almost got completely wiped out there. Oh man, sorry.
Yeah,
Austin.
that could have been an absolute table flip of a moment for Jack Geiler and his supporters right there. You know, leading the race, and then unfortunately right there. And I also want to say something. The rear end of the LMP2 car looks a lot like the rear end of the Porsche LMP1.
Because the arrow was made by the Lara for the Porsche.
That makes a lot of sense. There's a.
I've always noticed a lot of similarity between the Cadillac DPI and the Porsche. Which of course the Cadillac DPI based on the Dallara LMP2 car, and I know they worked together to get that car done. Dallara had a lot of saying in the Cadillac LMP2. But yeah.
Yeah, the LMP2s is based off the Dallara chassis, but the bodywork is made by manufacturers, I believe, or
Yeah,
they're allowed
but
to
let's
do
say that
stuff.
Dallara had a strong end in the project of the Cadillac DPI, also the
Yes.
aero part of. But yeah, there is your answer. So we were at Labati, I think, right? We got
Yes, we were at
interrupted.
Labate before absolutely everything went buck wild. Armstrong sitting at 7th, Balog in 8th place. Behind them, it's Marco in 9th, and Yabuku, after that pit lane kerfuffle, sitting in 10th place. Going to try to gain some time and gain some positions and try to recover this race. And Ollie Cole, who's had a horrible race, sitting in 11th. Last of the running LP1 cars, Pizzo and Littlemore are out of this race. Cole's around in turn 2.
And avoiding him was Marco. No, who was? There was a
It
black
was Colorats.
Cowlers, yes. All these black LMP1s, there's 3 or 4 of them for different teams, mind you. So we have Cowlers, we have Marco here, and then we have Schneider. And as you can see, they are pretty similar to each other at first glance. So, LMP2 Pro Panetta leads the way. Castellani is in 2nd place. There is a gap of 4.3 seconds between the pair of them. Michael Mariani is sitting in 3rd. And he's a decent gap over Jackie Lotterman. I called him Belgian. I apologize. The Dutch driver. My bad. How could I be wrong about that, given he's been around for years? Apology, Jackie, of course.
Flags don't look anything similar.
Yeah, no, I didn't even look at the flag. I went off of memory, and my memory, as per usual, was wrong. Jackie Lotterman is in 4th. Lorenzo Zoffoli for Leo Racing Team is in 5th. Owen Carroll for DDR in front of his teammate Daniel Zivi Zabo, 6th and 7th. Riccardo Giroli for SRC Milano Junior. James Parker is in 9th. 10th is Giuseppe Muia, who's recovering from that crash he had earlier, the 3-way crash between all the 3 classes, P1, P2AM and P2 Pro. It was the meat in the sandwich, unfortunately, Giuseppe. And Omar Robledo is in 11th in class, and a little bit further behind we have Anders Ilejordet. Only one retiree in this class, and that is Temu Milikangas, not having the best of days. LMP2 is Jack Geiler, 24 seconds over Thomas Sorensen, the championship leader. Remember the drop scores. I think Thomas has none and Jack already has 1 because I think he missed the first race. So things could change very quickly in the championship. Hans Blackert is in 3rd place, in front of Connor Gibb and Gerardo Iaconetti for 3D Rap. Squadra Corse, very close to each other. Morten Koefoed is in 6th place with his beautifully presented orange and blue, my 2 favorite colors, after magenta. LMP2 car. Andy Thompson, who's had an eventful race, I would say, and the car behind him is not for position, so he lets him by. There's Dino Vela, the debutant in LMP2 in 8th position. Andy Ticehurst and Martin Tailgard both are out. Martin didn't even take the green flag today. We have a fight for 2nd in LMP1, so I say that we should focus on this.
Absolutely, and fight for 2nd place right here. But as they're fighting, a little bit of separation. I also want to say, we lost a great driver early in the morning today. Al Unser, unfortunately, passed away. 4-time winner of the Indianapolis 500 and an absolute hero to me. And he will be missed.
Watching back those mid to late 90s broadcast of the Indie Racing League, and sometimes I think also he did kart, was absolutely entertaining, his commentary. So yeah, his enthusiasm was absolutely unmatched. Was absolutely, bad news this morning. Of course, when I got it after lunch here in Europe after the end of the 2nd session of pre-practice of F1.
Yeah, it was actually the first practice when it first happened.
Oh, see, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I just forget to sleep, and I was watching FP1 going through Twitter, and then I saw that. I'm like, oh. You know, one of the four time winners of Indy 500, and you know, pretty much cements you as already one of the greats. Our RART championship, you know, sitting second in the championship right now. Definitely going to be taking that championship lead, I believe, after this, right?
Well, the good thing is that the results are usually updated by our lovely stewards and admins right after the race. So if you go on apexracingleague.com, you will have more information about that. Speaking of Apex Racing, I mean,
oh, he's already the championship leader. I am.
Okay, perfect.
He'll be losing the championship lead. Spets will be getting the championship lead because they're separated by 1 point. I had it backwards.
I absolutely strongly suggest to, you know, we are in week 13, so it's time to retool and focus on the series you want to do next iRacing season, which starts on Tuesday or Monday night if you are in the US and North America. I strongly suggest you give a look at the Apex Racing Academy, where you will find 29 data packs with setups, track guides, weekly group coaching sessions, and more. It's integrated with VRS. If you're subscribed to VRS, you can combine the two subscriptions to get the best of both worlds. And these data packs is setups done by some of the best drivers in iRacing, and with 29 of them, you can be sure that the car you are choosing, or the cars you're choosing for your next iRacing season, are going to be there. So check it out at apexracingac.com.
They have IndyCar setups. They got the new Hyundai, Audi. They have all the TCRs on there, done by the same coach, by the way, so you can guarantee the same quality from there. And the Mercedes F1 car has a data pack as well. And
oh man,
almost massive contact right there. Jan Korps almost getting into the back of Hans Blancart, who's third in the LP2 AMs. Yeah.
Again, underwear change for both of them, and you don't want to throw away a podium. And of course, Hans, the little matter of having Connor close to him, he also has Thomas in front of him. They are all three of them very close. So this fight for second, third, and fourth could go down to the wire, Austin, in LMP2 AM. LMP2 Pro, a different story. Panetta
not so much.
Leading comfortably, might I add, over Castellani and Mariani. But I like this podium very much.
Once again, all-Italian podium in LP2A! Oh, that is Omar. The car going around right there.
Let's see what happened there. He was battling with Thomas.
He got onto the curb. He just got onto the curb on the outside right here. And, you know, I was talking about this curb and how much it upsets the car.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, wow. How was there not contact with any other car?
That was Simon, right?
Yeah, Callerats. And, you know, he's already going for an overtake. The next thing you know, see the car shooting across the track. And that's
another underwear changer. It's three of them now.
Yo, we're going to need a underwear fund for these drivers. Like, there are so many brown spots in these guys' underwears that, you know, I feel like the prize for the Wave Italy Prototype Championship is no longer a trophy. You're going to do washing machine after that.
Oh, you're right.
Good detergent.
You are right. I almost forgot to talk about our wonderful sponsor that we have, of course, the Wave Italy, which is a brand I know very well, being from Italy, a very respected brand. And their mission is to offer the best experience in driving simulation to an ever broader audience, with the aim of conveying the thrill of a real race to passionate professionals of esports and sim racing. They offer extremely high-performing and realistic devices, also suitable for corporate or private events. An unforgettable, immersive driver experience, and of course, if you have forgotten about it, but I doubt you have, with Italy providing the overall winner of LMP1 the choice of their high hand with impetus Imola or Monza sim pedals in a color of their choice. The overall winner of LMP2 gets half a day of professional coaching at the Wave Italy Professional Training Center in beautiful, beautiful Verona in northern Italy. You can get 5% off any product at waveitaly.com with the code APEXRACING5, 5 as in the number. The code is APEXRACING5, you can put that in the checkout. And of course, Academy prizes and SDK Gaming prizes are on offer for the rest of the podium, so all the podium finishers will get home at the end of the season something to brag home about. But I would say those pedals are very sweet, and a trip to Verona, it's a lovely city, one of my favorites in Italy. You have to absolutely go there. And if you have a girlfriend or a wife or whatever and she likes Romeo and Juliet, even perfect, even better. No?
Marco, you're talking to me. And the fans too. But, you know, I mean, that entire last part just went extremely over my head. My social life is cars, 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 race car, race car, race car, race car, race car.
Well, there is amazing food in Verona as well, by the way. And
okay, now that I'm excited about.
And they are famous for having some of the best cocktails in all of Italy.
Say no more.
Perfect.
Gonna get me hungry and it's not even noon.
If you feel lonely, I will bring you myself to the Romeo and Juliet places, you know? At the very least, we'll have that to share.
Yes, we will. We need to start planning that very soon.
Connor Gibb, you know, in the end, Sorensen has pulled away from these two guys. So his second place looks to be safe, probably there was a traffic. And now Hans has to look in the mirror because Connor is coming for him and fast. 0.3 of a second in his draft with little more, no pun intended, than 5 minutes left.
I can't believe you just did that.
No pun intended, I said.
No pun intended, but you know, when you say it, you immediately intend that you said it. Because you realize what you said. At least you admit it. You aren't like Sam, and ooh, Gibb. Ooh, this could get spicy right here. LP1 and LP2 holding up traffic. No contact.
Oh no,
Gibb?
Connor!
Gibb, no! Oh, I was so focused on that, I didn't notice that Gibb spun around. He let the LP1 car by, and unfortunately, he got onto the throttle trying to chase it down, like using the traffic at his advantage. And this might get bad to worse right there, side by side with Gibb and Littlemore. Waterman. No, it is Littlemore.
No, it's Little Jordet.
Oh, Little Jordet.
Connor dropped down to 16 class. He was 4th. Let's get a replay, Austin.
Yeah, it was heading into the Mercedes arena. He was letting the LMP1 car by, staying on the outside, and then getting back into it. You see, he actually got into the brakes right there, heading into this, and then just too much mustard disappeared from the shot right there. More traffic coming onto there, and it was just so tightly packed right there. And, well, Gibb, that is so unfortunate, but very fortunate if you are Hans Blancart, as, well, that pretty much gave you that 3rd place, but, you know, we can't ever say anything is in position until the end of this race.
Still getting very close for 2nd place overall, as we are with 3 minutes and a half left in the race. Comfortable lead of 26, almost 27 seconds for Spetsover, Rart and Kurbs. We will have, I think, once again both the gold, orange and black teams on the podium for Protocharge, Sim Sports, Rukanor, and that's of course a very well balanced podium, all 3 of them. And this is the closest fight we have on the field right now in the positions that matter. Both fights for the podium in the other classes seem to be done, so let's focus on Rart and Kurbs and see who gets 2nd and who gets 3rd, without forgetting that Kaularts is not that far behind. Actually,
yeah,
he's very
Kaularts
close.
can actually surprise to get a 2nd place position right here, as a fight for 2nd could get really nasty. as championship leader, soon to be championship in second place on a Rart, trying to hold off Corbs and Caloratz, and heading into traffic as well. Into turn 1. Well, it's not going to be that much traffic, but they do got another car ahead of them heading into turn 1. It's going to be turn 3, turn 2 when they catch up to them, or not even close to there. Corbs might get this traffic as we see Rart going down to the inside right there, gets caught up right there as Corbs just avoids him altogether, gets him off the exit. Little drag race right there. I can guarantee they're all over this boost right now. 2 minutes remaining here and 2 laps to go. Who's going to take second place, Porsche or Audi? I love a good inner manufacturer battle. See different manufacturer stuff and different cars. Always nice to see differences in designs of cars and strengths and weaknesses in those cars.
These are 2 very radically different cars also as well.
I'm trying to avoid another plug for the TCR class, by the way.
The Audi, of course, with this almost looks in the front like a Formula car with fenders and of course diesel powered. The biggest problem with the Audi, it only regenerates under braking, whilst the Porsche is of course a petrol hybrid, of course, and it can recharge on the straight as well. But as you were saying, in each track we have some positives and negatives for the both of them, as I think we are on the penultimate lap right now. So very quickly a shout out to our friends at the Virtual Racing School with 50 plus data packs, road and oval racing setups, track guides, data analysis software and one-on-one coaching. You can improve your own track performance. Visit virtualracingschool.com. As I said, if you have both VRS and Apex Racing Academy, you are absolutely guaranteeing yourself head start on the competition and the best of both worlds in terms of coaching on iRacing. As the white flag is out, 1 more lap to go.
White flag, yep, it is definitely out. We got that by 4 seconds. So hopefully you didn't shortchange your pit stop right there. And, if you went into the pits early, you might be in a bit of trouble. And guess who went into the pits earliest out of everybody? That's Corbs in 3rd place.
Austin, you said it with the voice of someone who made that mistake in the past.
Way too many times.
Oh man, we've all been in that boat, so...
You didn't do it on an Apex Racing broadcast where everyone's like, Austin's going to get a podium.
See, because at least you have the speed to get close to a podium in league competition.
Everyone crashed out in front of me. That's really what happened.
What the people don't know is that me and Austin, in every discipline, this discipline we tried our hands, we are incredibly close with the times. So.
Now racecraft is a different story, but
exactly.
I remember we were qualifying. Oh,
here we go!
Oh, contact right there as well.
And here comes Corbs, it's 3 wide with the LMP to Austin. It's gonna be side by side.
3 wide off the exit, taking the wide line down to the inside, side by side, around the outside. Jan Corbs into P2nd. What happened right there?
Spets wins, but this is going on, though.
Right down to the inside, Corbs around to the outside. There's Body. They're touching each other right there. Corbs almost got off track right there. Contact there. Spets. Rart. Yep. We're. Rart is down
Corbs second, Kaudas third.
Corbs has to go into the pit lane. Corbs is out of fuel. Kaudas is going to take second at the line. I can't believe that.
I think Corbs has to serve a penalty or something. Here comes Panetta winning his class. There's a speed on the front stretch. Jack Geiler also will sort that mess for you. I'm afraid that Corbs got a penalty for incident points or something.
I think he ran out of fuel at the end.
It seems strange. Why don't you continue on the straight?
Shorter line. The shorter line.
Could be. We will sort that mess for you.
But I think you might be right. But
contact again in front. Oof.
Oh my gosh, chaos at the final line right there. But I think you are right. It is going to be a penalty at the line. You see that 270 Jack Geiler. Woohoo! He's feeling happy about that one.
Which I don't think you can serve regardless on the final lap, so we will see.
Yeah.
Let's keep track of Curbs, right? Went into the pits, he has been...
It will then be a time penalty if you can't serve it.
It was Curbs, right? So Curbs is scored in 4th, but we will have to wait until the end of the race to see
and
where
Schneider
he is pushed.
Schneider was really far behind.
Yeah, but
Ford,
sometimes if you can't serve a penalty, you get basically a 1 lap penalty. You get sent to the back, to the front of 1 lap down or to the back of the lead lap. So
I don't think it'll be a lap penalty though. But Alex Spetz, oh man, what a race by him, dominating that Kalarats. I did say he could come home with a surprise 2nd place, and that happened. Corbs Rart, what a crazy crazy final lap that was.
This is as good as a time as any, as to remind you that the results we're going to show are pending protests, etc, etc, etc. So there we go, Austin with the LMP1s.
Yeah, LP1's full thing, and yeah, Corbs got dropped. That was championship results, wasn't it?
No, it was the...
Yeah, Corbs dropped down to 7th place with that penalty. Alex Spetz takes the win ahead of Simon Kalarats and Linhard Rart, who, you know, I think like me are gonna be needing a bit of change of pants after that. Oh my gosh, Kalarats 2nd place, Rart in 3rd, Nicholas Schneider in 4th, Carlos Labate in 5th, Balog in 6th place. Corbs unfortunately going to be in 7th with that penalty at the end. Marco finishes in 8th, followed by James Armstrong. Ismail Yakubu in 10th place. Ollie Cole, Daniel Piso, and Ryan Littlebore at the end of our 13-car results for the LP1. And over to Marco with the LPs as Alex Betts burns it down.
We'll do them separate, but of course remember they are scoring globally, but this is for ease of use. Panetta wins in LMP2 Pro in front of Castellani and Mariani. Jackie Lotterman in his debut race in the championship goes up to 4th. And Lorenzo Zoffoli is 5th in front of Owen Carroll, Daniel Zivisabo, Riccardo Geroli, James Parker, Omar Rovledo, Anders Lillejordet, Giuseppe Muyau had to retire on the last lap, by the way. You know, in the madness, I forgot to say that had happened, but I noticed that in the final lap. So some problems for Giuseppe, unfortunately. And Temu, the only driver that finished a considerable amount of laps down, whilst in the amateur class. The winner is Jack Geiler over Thomas Sorensen. Now, of course, he didn't win by a lap, but that's the way they are scored. Basically, quote-unquote, iRacing doesn't really like multi-class racing, we've noticed. Thomas Sorensen in 2nd and Hans Blackwood in 3rd. Gerardo Iaconetti, Connor Gibb had that crash in the end. Morten Koefoed, Andy Thompson, Dino Vela, Andy Tysers and Martin Tailgord, these last 2 drivers finishing several laps down. Whilst the others, I think they all completed the required amount of laps to score the points. So, we have some interviews. So, Austin, you can start with whomever you want.
Alright, let's take a look here. Almost dragged Lee Thompson into this. That is the wrong person I wanted to drag in. Let's talk with our race winner who, you know, Alexander Spetz. With this race win, you overtake the championship lead. I know it was a 1-point championship deficit heading into this. It's now much bigger than 1 point. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, it feels good. Once again, another lucky race. Last race wasn't too good. I had a big lead, but then LM2 rejoined, so I crashed into it and then finished P3, so I lost the championship lead. But I'm happy P1. I'm P1 in the championship now again.
Yeah, and speaking of traffic and LP2 cars, how was the traffic around Hockenheimring? I know the first 2 sectors are pretty wide, but when we get to Sector 3, everything really tightens up. Did you have any scary moments heading through the tight parts of the track?
Yeah, I definitely had some very tight moments with LM2s, and once I lost it, or even lost it over the curbs. But I was one of a few who chose the really low downforce setup here. so that I would have more top speed for this race. But when traffic arrived, I wouldn't lose that much because I could overtake them on the straight, and I was slow through sector 3 without LMP2 traffic, which meant I didn't lose the same much through sector 3 like the other ones.
Now, you definitely went into this race with a strategy, and you know, we were talking when do you pit and all that stuff. You went once again near to the end of the race as long as you can. You were the last car heading into the pit lane. Was that always going to be your strategy?
Yeah, for this after how the last 2 races ended, when I pitted early, I decided like then I saw Leonard and eSport pitting early, so I was thinking I was just gonna have to run a long stint as they tried to undercut me.
Well, that strategy definitely worked out for you. You were looking very good out there. Like you said, a little scary moments. Are you excited for next week, or is you just taking this 1 week at a time type deal?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's plenty of fun, this series, so I'm gonna try to be a little bit more prepared for the next one. I didn't practice that much for this one, maybe 40-50 minutes for this one, so I'm gonna try to be a bit more prepared for the next one.
All right, Alexander, before we let you go and celebrate this win, anybody you want to thank?
I would like to thank Protocharge Teamsport and Rukanor, and also my sponsors and my family.
For sure, they're all going to be proud of you. Congrats on a win and the championship lead. Alexander, you have yourself a good night, as Marco is standing by, I believe, with Thomas Sorensen.
Absolutely right, standing with Thomas, who finished in second place in his class, the LMP2 amateur class. Thomas, welcome to the booth. How's it going out there?
Thank you. All right, I think. I'm actually a bit disappointed. I thought I had more pace in the race than I had. And I had a bit of a rough start. I got pushed a bit, so I had to run most of the race with the 12Xs. So I had to be really careful. So yeah, I feel like I could have done better, even though P2 in our class is pretty good.
Yeah, especially because I got the feeling that this was, at least from up here, one of the more chaotic races of the season. Was that the case?
Yeah, I mean, this track is it's really not suited for traffic, I think, or at least the people are taking some real risks when overtaking a slower class. So yeah, that might have been why it has been so chaotic.
You have led the championship and entering tonight. Now, of course, we'll have to consider drop scores, etc. So situation is far from being decided. But we are getting into the back end of the championship. Are you confident that you are able to bring home the title?
If I can keep up my consistency, yeah, then I think I'm all right, at least for a top 3. But there are some really fast guys as well. So nothing is over yet until we hit the last race.
I've noticed also that, you know, this is the class that is most likely, your class, the LMP2, I'm more likely to mix up, of course, especially with the LMP2 pros, and usually the winner in your class is able to put some cars between himself and second and third place. That surely is good when you're leading, but I can imagine how tough it is when you're second or third like you were today, because this is basically the only class where the class leader you know, he has this buffer, so to speak. Does that affect the way you race, especially considering that maybe to get to the LMP2 AM leader you think in your mind that you need to pass 3 or 4 pro divers sometimes? Is that difficult for you guys?
Well, it's very difficult, and there has been a lot of discussion about the blue flag prior to the last race, but it is really difficult to overtake and to really manage your way when you're an AM driver trying to overtake a pro driver. So you really have to really concentrate to make sure that you're not involved in an accident or push someone off track or anything. So yeah, it is really difficult, and I feel like this race has been the most difficult so far, considering traffic, at least.
Next week we are off to Spa. What are your thoughts about the racetrack?
I am really looking forward to Spa. It is one of my favorite tracks in iRacing. So, yeah, hopefully it will be just as good as this race, maybe even better. I really hope to get a win within this season. So fingers crossed that my pace will be at least as good as it was today.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Thomas. Before we let you go, by the way, anyone you'd like to thank?
My team CTS Racing, my teammate Morten, and you guys. You are still doing a great job. So thank you, everybody, and everyone watching as well.
Thank you, Thomas. We'll catch you hopefully next week.
Thank you.
And that was Thomas Sorensen, and second place in LMP2 AM, Austin. Yeah, we are certainly looking forward to Spa next week. We also would like to remind you that we have more races coming up for you on Apex Racing TV. I think in just a few minutes no, of course it's week 13. What am I saying? No radicals this week, of course. But tomorrow you have, of course, the something to look forward to, the Apex Racing Academy VRS Championship is going to be back, if I'm not mistaken. And of course on Sunday the iRacing Winter Series for the Colorado Karting Tour is back, and then of course Rikmotech will be back on Tuesday, as well as
and Sunday nights, depending on what's going on here in the States with holidays, XSLR will be out on track as well.
You are absolutely right, Austin. So a lot of stuff to look forward to, but of course our main objective is Spa next week. So Austin, take it away.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us here for another fantastic round of the Wave Italy Apex Racing League Prototype Championship here at Hockenheimring. I've been joined by Marco Bombonera, and I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.